Alright you guys, for this episode, the He-Man Mutant, I'm going to have to change up the format a bit because this show officially had its first so bad it's good episode, so giving it a rating doesn't really even matter. And as for a plot summary, well, Quake and Butthead get captured by the heroes, who are a bit suspicious that they got captured, which makes sense because Skeletor's plan today involved getting them captured. So He-Man decides to infiltrate the bad guys in order to find out what they're really up to. So does he don a mutant trooper costume like he did in one episode? Nope. He literally turns himself into a mutant. It goes apeshit, frees Quake and Butthead, goes on the side of the mutants, and nearly helps them win. He-Man nearly helps the villains win. I've mentioned that the show's writing has seemed to have this Wheel of Fortune element, where one of the characters lands on the butt-numbingly stupid sector. And in this episode, it's He-Man's turn. So like I said, this is going to be a bit different. There are not going to be any positives and negatives. I'm just going to talk about all the things that are wrong with the episode. On with the review. Now, if I had to isolate the reasons why this episode is dumb, it comes down to 4 reasons, broadly. The dialogue, the animation, the direction, and the product placements. Yes, Clobbered or Clobber or whatever the hell this thing is came back for this episode. The dialogue is really terrible, but it's made all the more terrible by the weird, completely bizarre direction. There's a lot of scenes lacking music again, and this time they kind of help to emphasize this weird, awkward energy. Like, none of the conversations feel like they happen in character, and none of them feel as serious as the show wants them to. In other words, this is the first time when the New Adventures of He-Man actually starts to sound really, really silly because the characters are trying to be so goddamn serious. But when you're staring down the barrel of a mutated He-Man, it is really difficult to keep a straight face. Also, the character writing is not extremely in character. Flock, for one thing, asks the mutated He-Man to quote-unquote dispatch Hydran and Flipshot. Dispatch. I'm gonna be honest, the first half of this episode was so gut-wrenchingly terrible, I was actually fearful that I might have to give this episode a half a gray skull out of 3. Thank God I decided to take that decision out of my own hands. Because by the middle point, when He-Man is kicking the heroes' asses, I was just laughing because I was having such a good time with this stupid episode. The animation is also pretty terrible. Yes, it spikes up here and there with weird details, but not only did this episode's writing just kind of completely backfiring on it because of the cack-handed direction, we just have some pretty blatant mistakes as well, such as one scene where Quake suddenly starts talking with Butthead's voice. And then there are just borderline suggestive lines when the He-Man mutant says, "We play later." This whole episode just turns the whole show on its ear. And I goddamn love it. Now I need to stress, Kloshno Shmoshnos is another stupidly funny episode, but it's a stupidly funny episode where I can at least accept the stakes and the lore. It doesn't break anything. I accept the characters for who they are. In this episode, He-Man is a complete idiot and nearly ruins everything. Even all the times the Primus scientists ruin everything, it has never ever been this bad. So there you go. He-Man Mutant is the best, worst episode of the New Adventures of He-Man. Until next time, I have the power, so can you.